Well, welcome everyone. This is Jeanne-white from Social Connections on Passionate World Radio Network, and you know that we are doing We're doing a series here for caregivers, telling their stories. Betsy has already talked about her husband Matt, and now what she does on a weekly basis is talks about topics that may help the caregiver with tips and so forth. So today she's going to be talking about what's up with the media. Welcome, Betsy.
Hi, Jeannie. Hi, everybody. I can't help but laugh. I am so frustrated. I don't know what is up with the media. I just am so frustrated. I called 2 newspapers. One did my interview. It's not published yet. It should be soon. I called my local news station. They didn't even know about World Alzheimer's Month or Day. Well, she knew after I got done with her, but she said, "Oh, I'll give your number to my, producer. They're interested. I'll call you." So of course, I wasn't called.
No.
And I left messages on, I don't know if I can mention names, several news stations, local New York news stations, and radio stations, and not one response. Now, I hear during the month of October, and I'm not knocking breast cancer. I think it's terrific that these women spoke up and they got attention. And this is what we need to do with Alzheimer's. But no paper is purple that I know of in my area, and there isn't the media attention for these walks of marathons. Why doesn't the media respond? Are they afraid to talk about Alzheimer's? Are they ashamed? It's very frustrating. I hear on the radio or the news talking about different topics, different diseases all the time. Why don't they bring up Alzheimer's? And, when you have a news person who said to me over a year ago, I can't report on every disease coming down the pike. This has been around for 112 years. It didn't just come down the pike.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why is the media ashamed? And then I have to go back to that, and I know I'm probably redundant, but
that's
people,
okay. Keep being redundant.
People with any type of dementia, I say Alzheimer's because that's what is in my family, but any type of dementia need to speak up. I learned from people who have dementia when they speak up, because my husband did not speak up. I wish he did. When you speak up, you are helping others. You are teaching others. When you are sharing a caregiving story, you are helping others. But if people with dementia, people who are caregivers, are ashamed to speak up, then what do you expect from the media? We need to bombard the media. If people would just bombard the media, they could ignore me, but maybe if 1,000 people called up, they can't ignore it anymore. And it might say, "Oh, something's got to be done. We have to start doing something, or we're going to lose viewers or listeners." This is what needs to be done. And if people who had, breast cancer and AIDS, they got the attention because they weren't afraid to speak up. And I can't, say this enough to caregivers. Speak up. Media people, if you're listening, you need to let us speak up. You need to hear our voices. And this is what is, great about Passionate Radio Network. And this is why I talk about your station, because you are giving us a voice where no one else is going to. I don't know why the media is ashamed or embarrassed.
Let me just give you my thoughts on this, on the media. First of all, the Alzheimer is not a warm and fuzzy story of, people being cured, And this here is a long road for Alzheimer's. There's no treatment yet.
Yep.
So is that part of the reason why not? Because it's not a warm and fuzzy story, like all the other diseases that are being handled, which is great, all right? That's not an issue with us. But the issue is that the media is just turning a blind eye, I think, to Alzheimer's.
Yes. It's not, you're right, it's not a warm and fuzzy story. There is not a happy ending because there is no cure, and this is why it needs to be talked about.
Right.
With some cancers, there isn't a cure either. Pancreatic cancer, liver cancer, brain cancer, they're getting advanced, but there's still no cure. There's treatments, but no cure. There's absolutely, zero cure for Alzheimer's and other dementias. And this is why it needs to be in the spotlight. It's not like this disease has been around for a couple of years. This is 112 years old.
Yeah.
And
well, I know that you just talked about. I don't remember the person's name, but the reporter, what he told you about they cannot discuss every issue that's going on coming down the pike, right?
Right.
So that's the attitude that you have of your reporters and your news stations and your papers, and they wonder, why their listenership is going down. Who knows? Or it's just not a warm and fuzzy story, and there's no way to make it warm and fuzzy. What you can do is enlighten people.
Right. And we need to bring our stories out into the spotlight and to talk about this. That's not pretty at all, and we need to talk about it and not be ashamed. And I find that a lot of caregivers are embarrassed. They don't want to speak about it. Oh, I don't want my family to know. Well, your family already knows.
Yeah, true.
I mean, it's not a secret. Your family already knows. Now, if the person doesn't want their lies told, you can remain anonymous. And
you can.
Tell your story. Don't use your name or anything like that. But at least get your story out there. But a lot of caregivers, even with pictures, my friend Marcia did the video. I don't know if you
I saw it. It was terrific. Really was. It was very good, yes.
Marcia Bird does great videos. Even with that, I don't want my picture published. I don't want this in the video. Well, why are you embarrassed?
Yeah. What do you want?
Right.
If you don't speak up, you're not going to get any changes. You're just not. As simple as that.
And
like
that's,
yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And that's it. And the caregivers are embarrassed to speak up. Then you have no business complaining that people are not educated about this disease.
Right. Like I had that great interview. Yeah, I know it is up to you. It's up to everyone, really. I know. I did that Christina Turner interview yesterday. It was phenomenal, but it gave some good suggestions. And that's what happens when these caregivers start, speaking their stories. They give a lot of insight as to what is happening, and maybe there's one word that they can say that will change the direction for the caregiver. But if the media doesn't want to get involved in it, and people don't want to get involved in it, who is getting involved, really?
Yes, and you're right, Jeannie. And, how does change happen? It's, one person can light a spark, but it takes a group. There's strength in numbers. And this is what caregivers have to realize. It's nothing to do with being brave. People say to me all the time, Betsy, you could do it because you're brave. No, I'm not doing it because I'm brave. I'm doing it out of anger, actually.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing out of. I try to change my anger and my sadness and depression into something positive. And I'm trying to fight this disease because I'm not letting this mofo disease destroy me again. It destroyed me before, and I'm not going to let it happen again. I'm determined this time. I'm not going to let this disease destroy me. It's going to take men away from me. took my father away, my mother-in-law away. I almost had a nervous breakdown. I'm not ashamed to admit it. And I will not let it destroy me again. I'm fighting back. And this is my way of fighting back is I'm doing my videos. I'm talking about it. I'm spreading awareness.
Yeah.
You know, so out of tragedy, sometimes something good comes out.
That's
and,
true.
You know, meeting you is like one of the best things in my life, Jeannie.
Well, me too, because I had been thinking about this because I lost 2 friends and I lost a dad. But, you know, this gave me to really rethink it and say, yeah, I have the tools to put them out here. And so that's where I am. And it's been very rewarding for me just to be able to, you know, an honor to speak to some of these caregivers. I mean, their stories are phenomenal.
And it makes me excited, and it puts a fire in me, you know, when people, I mean, I've had a lot of people say they're interested and they haven't called you, but then there were people who are interested and did call, and once they spoke to you, they were like, Betsy, thank you for introducing me to Jeannie. She's wonderful. She's easy to talk to. And like, yes, now you tell other people.
Yeah.
You know, you share that and tell people, you know, to tell their stories. It's easy to do. And that's how it gets started.
So all you do is, like we said, as long as you can get that one person, Betsy. But I don't know what needs to be said to the media. I think the only thing is that people have to really, you know, band together and you know, call a lot of these newspapers or call a lot of these television stations or radio stations and find out why they are not doing anything to make awareness to Alzheimer's. I know in my town, I sent you something yesterday, what my town is doing. I think it's phenomenal what they're doing, you know. They have a resource area, and anyone in Dedham can contact them, and they have places to send people. So it's an easy concept. And probably took a while for them to put it all together, really. But it is. I put that out on my Facebook page. I mean, I was really, honestly, Betsy, I was like, oh, my God, this is it. This is how it's going to start.
And that's great. That was really fantastic.
Yeah. And, you know, so you find out what your town is doing. You know, what kind of resources do they have for you? That's another way to start. Like here, they have a list of places that you can go to find out things. Maybe your town, maybe, and on their website could put something on there about what people could do. That's a good idea, though, I think.
Oh, call my township.
Yeah, find out what they're doing. What kind of assistance do they have? Dedham is doing it.
Mm-hmm. I know with the elderly. Well, I know in my township there's a center for the I hate to say elderly.
Mm-hmm, that's fine.
Senior citizens.
Yeah.
That I went for Matt to help them, for them to help me about information about Medicare, and they do offer services if you qualify. And the person I talked to, I think she might have had Alzheimer's in her family, so she was very understanding. And they, you know, she told me they offered free counseling. But as far as like Alzheimer's walks, I don't know of any in my town, actually. They are in New Jersey, scattered, but not anything specifically in my town.
Yeah, but maybe you can contact them, you know, and see if they can. Do they have a brochure or something? I mean, it's a little step. It may not be gratifying to a lot, but it's a step for making your place more aware of what you're feeling, what you're looking for assistance for. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, that is a good idea, Jeannie. Thanks. I'll have to call them up.
Just see what they have to say, you know. And if you want to send my stuff that they didn't give them an idea of what we're doing here in Dedham, I mean, that's just how it works. You got to take a step, you know.
Yes, baby steps.
Yep, and that's how it does. It's how it works. Look at the step here. We're doing this here, that you're doing. I'm just facilitating, but you're doing it. And then, having a huge conference call and open up the lines for people to call in. And then we're doing live radio interviews. So that's another step that we can use. But I think you'd find out what's going on in your towns. What is actually happening? For me, what is Dedham doing? What are they doing? And I'm finding out that they're doing something.
Yeah, that's great. Last year, I think it was Matt's cousin. She was doing a walk in, I want to say Jersey City or Liberty State Park, around that area. And she asked if she could use Matt's picture with her walk, and she used her aunt's picture too. I said sure, so she did her walk holding their aunt's picture and Matt's picture.
Terrific. See, now isn't that great? I think that's great.
So I was honored because Matt's uncle also died of Alzheimer's. So that was his cousin Sue who did that. And it's just, I was honored. And,
you should be, yeah, you really are. You must be. You must have been overwhelmed, really.
I was. And she said, I'm going to hold Aunt Marge's picture, and I'd like to hold Matt's. And I said, yeah, sure. And she sent a T-shirt for, I think it fits Matt, not Josh, their walk from last year. But that was really, really nice because there's such a strong family history in Matt's mother's side, on Matt's mother's side.
Yeah.
And it's, it has to be, I feel, put out in the open, and the media needs to have more awareness, media attention to the Alzheimer's walks. You don't see that on TV. I see it for other things, like breast cancer marathon and, marathon to raise money for disabled Marines, and that's wonderful, and I'm glad they do that. But what about us? Where's the media attention for the Alzheimer's walks? I don't think
I'll be honest with you, I don't recall seeing much about it.
Excuse me. Yes, right. That's exactly, my point. Where is the attention? Why isn't that being shown? And I know not just, in New Jersey, but, is there media attention on these walks in other states?
I don't know. The only ones that would be able to tell you, the only ones that would be able to tell you that is your caregiver groups that are in different states.
I think I should put that question out there.
Yeah.
On my Facebook page.
Yeah.
And the Face of Alzheimer's page. Does your state, in your state, does the media publicize your walks?
Mm. And what is your state? And ask what their states are doing to make more awareness and help with solutions or something for Alzheimer's. There must be if just my little town, Dedham, Massachusetts, is doing something, then they have to be doing something. You don't really ask anyone, so maybe that would be a good question for you to ask, Betsy.
Yes, I think I'm going to post that. You did an interview with Christina Turner. Yep. She told me last week that she contacted her local newspaper, and I thought that was terrific.
Yes. Yes, she did. Now, isn't Marcy is doing where she lives in Florida? She's doing. Isn't she doing a weekly, a monthly column for them at one of her newspapers? I thought that's what she said.
She does do a column, yes, and she runs a support group. Yeah. Down her way.
So these are all little steps and you're finding the ones that are doing it and making a difference. So you have a good group that you're with that could make some significant changes.
I never thought of myself as advocate or an activist. Especially in my old age, I'll be 61 in December. I says, I can't believe it. My mom tells me that my dad would be so proud of me.
Yes, he would. I bet he would.
Because he always was like, you have to speak up.
Yeah.
And basically you have to stand your ground.
Yeah.
And
it is scary to speak up, don't you think?
It is. If anyone would have told me 10, 15 years ago I would be doing what I'm doing, I would have said, no way. Because this isn't any way I would expose myself to the public media. Especially showing my face. No way. But
well, look I'm putting your picture on the blog every week.
Yeah. So here I am. That's like never say never.
Yeah. Are you okay?
Yes.
Are you all right? Okay. Good.
Yes, I'm okay.
Okay. So you should
never say
on.
never.
That's right. And it's phenomenal. I mean, a group of women that you're with that are making a difference. Now, this would be a group to get together and see what you people could come up for ideas. You'd be surprised what will come out of that.
I feel like not that of starting. Well, no, actually, sometimes I do feel like starting a movement. And this is why I tell people, get out of I call it the dementia closet, and bring it out into the spotlight. Yeah. We need to take it to the streets.
Yeah.
That might come down to that. We need to have our own revolution. That we want to be heard.
That's right. And it only happens in numbers.
Right.
Yeah.
This is why I even told people on my Facebook page, call your media. Blast them. Do a media blitz. If everyone in the same state called up their stations, they can't ignore everybody.
No, they can't.
And this, maybe they'll say, "Oh, something's going on here."
Yeah. They're speaking up now.
Yes. And it takes more people to speak up. And this is what I try to tell other caregivers. If you won't speak up, how do you expect the media to do a story on us if you're afraid to speak up?
Uh-huh.
And there's nothing to, be afraid of. And I tell people there's no right way or wrong way to tell your story or to say how you feel.
Yeah.
When I listen to my audios, I'm like, oh, I wish I could edit that, or oh, I don't like, the sound of my own voice. But hey, I'm just plugging along. I'm just, throw out, like you say, Jean. I'm just throwing out what I feel, and I say what I feel. Yeah. And if people like it, that's great, and if they don't, that's okay too.
It is too. I also think people are afraid to speak up because feel like they'll get bullied, or people will say nasty things or whatever. They'll chastise them and stuff like that. But you just ignore those fools. They'll go away. And you have to stand for the conviction of what you believe in. Everyone else is doing it. Why can't we?
And I also think, Jeannie, and I don't mean to sound harsh to my other caregiver peeps, but I have found this. It is depressing. There's no question about that, and that is very sad and heartbreaking, this journey. And what helps me is to help other people, and instead of wallowing in your self-pity and saying, oh, well, my life isn't the same. Well, it sure isn't. That's for sure. And you know what the end result is going to be? You can't change that. But help someone else. You can change that. You can change your outlook. I'm not going to find a cure. I'm not going to save Matt's life or anyone else's. But I am speaking out because it helps me to help other people. Especially doing, talking to you weekly or speaking weekly on this radio station helped me, and it is helping me tremendously. And even my mother said that. She goes, Betsy, this is really great for you. And, help other people. And I can't really impress that enough. When you help others, you're helping yourself. Get out of your self-pity. Get out of your self-loathing and do something for somebody else. Same thing with guilt. You can't change what you did yesterday. You only have today. If you see a caregiver struggling, help them. Reach out to them. And that this is what it's about. This is why we were placed on earth, is to help each other. And this is what we need to do. We need to, especially caregivers, need to love up on each other and help each other and stop being, judgmental and jumping down people's throats because you don't agree with something. It's not about that. It's just helping one another. And I feel very blessed to, help someone. And if someone says, Betsy, you've helped me, you've inspired me, that really makes me happy. And that does get me out of my sadness and depression. I've been dealing with this for 17 years, starting with my mother-in-law. And, I didn't have support. For a good 14 years, I was without support. And it's lonely when you don't have support. And I vowed I don't want people to feel alone. I want them to know that they have support. And this is why I do, another reason why did I do what I do, because I don't want people to feel alone. I want them to know, hey, I'm here. If you need me, I'm here. I'll get back to you as soon as I can because I do work. But I am here and I am available, for any, way I could help somebody. Because it is very difficult. And in a series, I think, next week, I'm going to talk about the effect this can have on your marriage or relationship with a partner, because that's a big, very big problem.
Yeah, that is an issue. I can't say I experience it, but just from what either I've read or heard, it's a strain, really a strain on the marriage, But
yes.
But and sometimes it's a strain because there's only one participating.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yes. And the other person cannot. It's like, I just said to Christina yesterday is, I know this is going off the path, but we as caregivers, there is an amount of pressure on you to do whatever it is you have to do on a daily basis. But I think in the beginning, when these individuals are diagnosed with Alzheimer's, does anyone really know inside what they're thinking? How sad or how angry they must be also, because they're losing out on everything also.
Yes.
And it's probably not a path that they really wanted to be on, And then it becomes confusing because it is what happened, Why can't I remember, You don't know what they're thinking inside or if they're thinking at all, But it must be it must be tremendously hurtful for them to realize that they cannot participate ever again.
Yes, and frightening.
Yeah.
It has to be frightening.
So that's why you have to bring attention. The media has to bring attention to it, and even if it's just once every 2 weeks or whatever, is to, do a short. They can talk about something for 2 minutes and get a lot of information out.
And even, for this month, especially Friday is the World Alzheimer's Awareness Day. They should have interviewed caregivers. They should have interviewed people who have dementia and let them speak up. I am ever so grateful for Janice Swink for speaking up, learning from her, and many others who speak up and say how they're feeling, because then I know what Matt is going through. And the Keep It Snow videos were fantastic for me to watch, to understand. And this is why people with dementia really need to speak up, so the stigma must stop on, that it's an old person's disease, it's a normal part of aging. It's not an old person's disease. It is not a normal part of aging. It's a fatal, progressive brain disease. And, the world needs to wake up. Those of us who live with Alzheimer's or any other dementia, we don't need an awareness month or day. We live it every day. It's for the public. The public needs to know. Yeah, and the medical community needs to wake up big time.
Yeah, they do. I just a quick thing about Janice Swink. She's documenting every single day. That's miraculous to do that.
Yes.
To be able to go back and listen to what she has been saying from the time she was diagnosed. I mean, what a documentary that would be, really.
That would be.
For her. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying it would be wonderful to every day and see what changes are going on for her and how she's affected and what she's saying about it. So, the media could, it would be great if someone in the media could contact her and do a really unbelievable story for her, and maybe show some of the clips of her videos. That would be a great show for the media to do.
That would be.
Yeah. Yeah.
That really would be.
Yeah. So I don't know. You have to keep knocking on doors, Betsy. That's all I have to say. You just, no matter how frustrating it gets, and it really must be grueling, you just got to keep on knocking.
Not even, excuse me, to get a response like, oh, we're not interested, or, oh, yeah, we responded 24 hours. You never responded. It's been some cases, it's been a year.
Yeah. If it's not a story about Hollywood or something warm and fuzzy, they're just not going to do it. I haven't seen a station yet that would be willing to put their shows out there about different diseases, especially about Alzheimer's.
And do a documentary about somebody like Janice or, someone else. The Real Housewives series. Have a real series about someone living with this disease.
Janice would be a great example.
See that.
Yeah,
right.
Janice would be a great example. From the very beginning when she started, those videos are marvelous. I would almost want to venture to say to her, ask her if I could put it up on our station, do it on a weekly basis. But
I think she'd love that.
But I'd have to ask for her permission to do that.
Yeah.
But I've been thinking about that for a while, to say, come on, here's a lady that's out there. She's living life, and she has Alzheimer's, but she's still able to. She has her bad days, she has her good days, and how she graduated from a cane to a walker, and now she's in a scooter. Do you see this progression that you're seeing with her? That would be great, I think. But I mean, would it maybe a freelance videography that would like to take it, like that does videos, would like to take it and make a documentary. We don't know until you put it out there and you ask. Like for you, ask. You're asking all the time. You're asking the media. You're asking your groups. So you are doing. And I wish more would do more. Really,
I think Janice would love that. I know you have to ask her permission, but I think she would say yes.
Yeah, I'd have to ask her, but I would think I could do that. Like put a little story with it, just say what it's about, and then put it there so people can see that this is a human being that was born and lived, and now she's sharing her journey. She's actually sharing that, Betsy,
right.
really. She's sharing
yes,
it.
And she's putting a face to a name of a disease, and this is what needs to happen. This is why I was like, I guess obsessed. Maybe I have OCD, and I don't know it. Of changing the image of Alzheimer's, and I show Matt's picture. This is the new image of Alzheimer's. He was only 56.
If you want me to have, I'm just asking you if you'd want your do you have a picture of the two of you together?
Yeah.
Would you mind?
No, I don't mind. I could send you a picture.
So in place of putting you on there sometimes, I could put a picture of you and Matt together. As a couple. And I could do that for you, I'll just do that. But, it's just taking one step, putting it in front of the next one. That's all it is, and that's what you're doing, Betsy. Like I tell that story about how I met you, people are just like, really? I goes, yeah, that's how it all happened.
Yeah, it's really, I told my mom that my mom is 88 years old, and I told, my mom how you and I met, and she thinks it's great, what I'm doing, and I don't think she realizes how global this network is.
Yeah, it is global.
And
it's going to even be more global.
I said, your daughter is, I don't know, I said, if anyone listens to me, I said, but it is heard all over.
Yes, it is heard.
She was, my mom told me that she was proud of me, and my parents didn't tell me that they were proud of me that much, in growing up. But I feel, very happy when she tells me that. And I never thought, at this age, that I would be this active and speaking up. But you know what? You have to. It's just my passion, and I'm not going to let it go. Even, I said even after Matt is gone, some people walk away from anything to do with Alzheimer's, and I could understand that, but I'm like the dog with the bone. I can't let it go.
Yeah,
I just can't. I got to help people. Yeah. It's just, it's just who I am.
Yes. Well, I can't believe we've been on for almost 45 minutes. I tell you,
wow.
I think it's 40 minutes, or maybe they're about somewhere 40. Is there? I know you're busy and you're going to get ready for work and stuff. So I know we'll do this again next week. But is there any words you want to leave for the listening audience, especially your caregiver friends?
Yes, caregivers, please don't be afraid. Speak up. Contact your media. Tell other caregivers to contact their local media, your newspapers, and speak up. Call them on the carpet. Say, why aren't you publishing anything about Alzheimer's, World Alzheimer's Awareness? Where is the publicity? Why aren't you doing any publicizing on these Alzheimer's walks, their marathons, whatever they're doing? Where is the immediate attention? And there's no right or wrong way to tell your story, caregiver. Just tell it. Just open your mouth up and tell it. And you'll be surprised at how much better you feel when you help someone else. That's what you need to do. Mm-hmm. And I want to thank you, Jeannie, and again, Passionate World Radio Network for letting me speak and giving us a voice. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Betsy. I think it was a terrific talk today. We kind of like jumped around a little bit, but I think the main thing we did talk about was the media and how seems to be uncaring at sometimes, but that's just my opinion. But again, unless you say something, nothing happens, and that's what you're doing, really, Betsy, and I thank you for that. I want to thank everyone for listening to this show today. This is jeanne-white at Social Connections with Betsy-wurzel, and she is the advocate for the caregivers that are having to take care of their loved ones with Alzheimer's. Again, you can always contact me at jwhite7033 at comcast.net, or you can go on Facebook to Betsy's page, right, Betsy?
Yes.
Yeah. Betsey-wurzel at Facebook? Okay.
Yes.
And they can contact you there, and hopefully at some point someone will, answer and say something. You never know. That one person can be the one. Again, thank you, everyone, for listening to me and Betsy today, and we'll see you on the radio next week. Bye now.